Scary. Today I am revealing your scariest secrets. Since Halloween is coming up and it's one of my favorite holidays, I thought we'd celebrate. I don't even like scary stuff. In fact, I actually quite hate it. I usually hide in my clothing when I go to anything scary. I enter with my sweatshirt covering my face, dry panties, and I leave with wet panties and still my sweatshirt over my face. And no, I don't mean arousedly wet. I mean just pee. That's my secret. I pee myself a little bit sometimes. It was only once, okay? So this happened a few weeks ago. I was in quarantine, my parents were not, and I was kind of having a bit of a throat ache and went to my mom's bedroom to look for some of those throat relaxing candy things. I was looking through her drawers when I suddenly found her Shrek's toys under her socks. Wait, I'm sorry. Did you mean to say sex toys or Shrek toys? And why is finding Shrek toys actually more scary than sex toys? And also a lot of pictures of Adam Driver. I mean, that's understandable. I'm scared now. Also, by the way, I love your videos and they make me feel a lot better about myself. LOL. I just really need to know whether they were Shrek toys or sex toys because it makes a huge goddamn difference. Praying that they were sex toys. So over the summer, me and my brothers went to visit my mom who lives in Hawaii. I'm a girl, by the way. I have 2 stepbrothers and a stepsister who lived there with my stepdad. My stepsister is a lesbian, and me and my stepsister went to a freshwater pool in the middle of the jungle to jump off cliffs into the big pool. Me and her started playing truth or dare, and I dared her to take off her swimsuit and skinny dip in the water. She did, and after she dared me to do the same. So I stripped and jumped into the water. After that, she dared me to kiss her. I was too scared to kiss her, so I said she should just kiss me. She did, and after that we started making out. One thing turns to another, and we fucked in the middle of the jungle. I thought I was straight, but I guess not. So me and my stepsister lost our virginities to each other. She has a girlfriend, so that will be an interesting discussion for them. I thought that I wasn't into incest, but I guess not. You know what, it's not about the incest. There's just something hot about fucking in a jungle, I think. That's what I'm into. That's what I'm into. It's not about the incest, okay? When I was 13 years old, in 2016, I was really close with my grandpa and would sleep at his house a lot and in his bed. I never thought this was weird. He lived alone in his house. One night when I was taking a shower, I realized his phone was in the bathroom. I looked at it and saw that he had been taking pictures of me undressed without my knowledge. I freaked out and told my parents, and they told me it was just an accident and it was my fault because I should have told him not to have his phone in the bathroom. What kind of contorted thinking is that? Do you think he's so old he doesn't have an idea that he's hitting the like what? Pointing it directly at? That is such a good example of people believing in absolute nonsense just because the truth is so difficult to accept. Like, I get it. You don't want to believe Grandpa's a perv, but you better believe it, baby. Grandpa's a fucking perv. Ever since then, I was uncomfortable around him and wasn't close with him again. Makes sense. Then last February, he killed himself. And I have guilt that it could have been my fault in a way. I also felt scared that he may be watching me from another place. That's so weird. Because of this, I was scared to masturbate for months afterwards. Oh my God, that is so fucked up. You definitely shouldn't feel guilty about him killing himself. He brought whatever all of that was upon himself. And I hope you touch yourself freely without fear now, but I totally would have felt the same way if that had happened to me. Yikes. And I'm thinking about him killing himself on purpose so that he can watch you. You know, if there's like an afterlife, which I believe in, or at least hope it's real enough to believe in. And then he was like, you know what, the best vantage point would be if I could see anything at any time. Hi Alex, my secret may be unrelated, but it's still a secret, so here we go. I have developed this strange fear of people looking at me. Sorry. Or looking into my eyes, or just people's eyes in general. I think it's because of the scoldings I've had as a child where my parents would look directly into my eyes and yell at me. The fear has been getting progressively worse every day, and it doesn't make it any better when my dad stares at my eyes and calls me weird names like his puppy or his baby. Is that a separate issue? I might be overreacting, but it still scares me and I keep having panic attacks over it. P.S. I love your videos and been watching you for a long time. I think this is terrible advice, so don't take it. But when I was younger and I was getting in trouble and my teacher or my parents were looking me in the eyes, I would just go cross-eyed. And it would kind of help me remove myself from the situation a little bit. You could maybe use that if you're in like severe panic and don't know how to get out of a situation, but like I would probably not lean into avoidance techniques because it might just make the whole thing worse. Best of luck! I'm a straight girl, but I'm also so scared of men. Like, I'm really envious of all my friends who are lesbians. I have basically never had a good relationship with a guy, and I know there's nice men out there, but I can't find any. I guess quarantine is nice because I don't have to worry about being with anyone, but fuck! I just want to have the love and partner support of a lesbian relationship, but with a guy. There are nice men out there. It's shocking, but there are. Actually, probably a lot. It's just like the not nice ones are so much louder and more prevalent in your memory because it's like trauma and all that. Anyways, in due time, you will find a good man. I promise you. I can't promise you anything, but I hope so. I did. I did. Sorry. I was walking down my local nature reserve. I'm 13, by the way, and my neighborhood is pretty sketchy. Like, druggo sketchy. And I was just trying to get some exercise because, you know, quarantine and shit. But I ended up walking past a group of teenagers just chilling in the bushes. That is never a good sign. I didn't think too much of it because it was pretty normal for kids to be doing drugs around my area, so I kept on walking despite hearing a lot of yelling and screaming behind me. A couple days later, I did the same walk and there was a terrible smell and trash bag where they had been. Obviously, being the idiot I am, I still didn't think anything of it and decided to leave it so I didn't get attacked by crazy druggy teens. Later, there had been missing reports about a man from my area and a lot of police were asking my neighborhood if we'd see anything. I was really scared and I didn't say anything, although knowing that the trash bag I'd seen definitely had my poor neighbor's dead ass body in it. I'm 100% sure the police found the trash bag, but I don't know if the teens HV got caught yet, as I still see some around. I'm really scared to come forward as I already lied prior and the teens would know it was me as my neighborhood is pretty isolated and I don't see too many people around. What do I do? Oh my god, I don't know. My first instinct was tell the police, but then you get a target on your back if you tell the police. But it's like, shouldn't you stand up in the name of justice? Or do you just sit the fuck down and stay quiet in the name of staying alive? Like, I'm sorry, sis, but can't help. I really don't know. And it sucks because if you don't tell the police, you'll probably be riddled with this guilt for the rest of your life. That is scary. One time when I was younger, my uncle farted in my cousin's mouth when he was napping. I'm scared he's gonna do it to me one day. What's up with uncles? They are by far the creepiest family member. And I can say that as like a scientific fact. Because I read a lot of secrets and uncles are consistently the most perpetrating family member. I like my uncles. Not every uncle is my uncle. I mean, that's true. Yeah, no, most uncles aren't my uncle. What am I on about? I think the solution here is just don't sleep near your uncle. If I were to create a book of life and how to live it, I think rule 38 would probably be don't sleep near your uncle. And again, my uncles are awesome, but it seems like a lot of them aren't. I kind of feel bad now because a lot of people are uncles and I think most of them are perfectly fine. Okay, this is crazy. This happened in 9th grade. I'm gonna sound like a dick this whole time, but I'm just gonna tell it like it is. I was genuinely friends with this girl, but I knew she had a crush on me. She would like finger the hole I had in my pants to touch me. She wrote a fan fiction of these two girl characters, but it was obvious it was us. It was 40 pages typed on a Google Doc. I can't believe she let me read it. It was us, but with the names hanged. She has a really good memory and would memorize all my social media accounts and Spotify playlists. It was little things like that, and I was fine with. But then she started remembering what I said I was doing after school and follow me to where I was going, i.e. Starbucks. One time she brought up something about like, it's cool that your family eats dinner together. And I was like, what? How do you know that? And she was like, oh, don't get mad at me, but I got my dad to drive by your house and I looked in your window and saw you eating dinner with your family. I went off on her that time. I was weirded out and kind of scared that she went to my house and looked through my windows. Last thing, on New Year's, she gave me a journal filled with all the interactions we've had since we met a year before. Some of it was cute, but there was a whole page dedicated to my hair. And her saying how sometimes she wants to cut off a piece and put it in her room. I was genuinely scared and worried and didn't tell her about any crushes or interests I had, worried she would do something. That's like a valid fear, it sounds like. Anyway, she moved away 3 years ago, but we still keep in contact. Okay, why? I would say it's inarguably the best course of action is to no longer interact with this girl. Although, I don't know, you've already been doing it for 3 years. If you suddenly stop, she'd probably come find you. Terrifying. But at the same time, there's this part of me in the back of my head, the little child who just wants to be loved, who's like, aw, that's so cute. She really cares. Is that universal? Like, are any of you listening to this right now being like, oh, I wish someone would do that for me. I wish someone would look through my windows and steal locks of my hair. Okay, so once I was like 12 and we had these little things called elves on the shelves. Some creepy shit. I'm Jewish. I never had an elf on the shelf, but conceptually those creep me out. We had family over, my male cousin, keep this in mind, and the rest of my family. It was Christmas dinner and we all were eating dinner and my mom noticed my male cousin was missing and asked me to go look for him. I went to look in the bathroom, he wasn't there. I walked over to my bedroom, my fucking bedroom. I swing open the door and bam! He is laying on my bed with the elf, like sitting on his dick while he was just moving it up and down. There was a hole in it so he could shove his dick inside the stuffed elf. I turned around and walked back through my bedroom and sat down at the table. We haven't talked since that. I'm 15 now and I'm still scarred from that. You know, it's like the elves on the shelves are supposed to watch you from afar and make sure you behave, and like probably the worst thing you could do is sexually assault one. It's like, I guess you want coal. Like, you're supposed to misbehave not while the elf is watching, you know, like in a room where there isn't an elf on the shelf, but this motherfucker just grabs the elf and fucks it? Or you know what, maybe they had something worked out, you know, maybe like the elf was into it and he would give a good word to Santa. I'm literally talking absolute nonsense. I'm sorry you walked in on your cousin jerking it with an elf on the shelf. People. How did I know ghosts really exist? One day when I was home alone, I was feeling tipsy, horny. I've never heard that used in such a context, but I suppose it makes sense. You're horny and you're not exactly in the right frame of mind. Okay. And as I was masturbating, all of a sudden my wiener was moving on its own. Little did I know a ghost was giving me a hand job. After that day, the ghost never did it again for me. It was a bit cool and scary. I will never forget the feeling. I hope this is real. I really hope a ghost gave you a hand job. Also, I'm just imagining you getting into a serious relationship and like just genuinely struggling because nothing will ever be as satisfying as the hand job you got from a ghost. Hi, so here's some freaky scary that happened at my school. This is really a secret, but still. What? So at my school this one kid was really creepy, and one day when we got in homeroom, he stabbed a girl and fled the scene. The cops found him hiding in someone's backyard and just left the girl there. She was stabbed in the lower back, I think. I'm not gonna say her name or the name of the boy who did it because they're minors, but if you wanna see news stuff on it, look up 13-year-old girl stabbed Massachusetts. Thank you and good night! Sorry for spelling mistakes, it's really late. I didn't really believe you because of how chaotic your whole storytelling was, and it didn't make sense. It's like he stabbed her in the homeroom and then the girl was with her and he left her, he left her in the room. Anyways, I believe you simply because you said look it up. Do you ever someone will tell you something and they'll tell you to look it up and you don't really want to look it up, but just surely from the fact that they offered the option, you're like, okay, all right, yeah. I believe you. My boyfriend always says, ask my mom. And it's like, I'm not gonna ask his mom. But since he offered up the option, I now believe you. So that's a fun trick. I would say maybe 15% of the time people might end up looking it up or asking your mom. So be wary of how often you use this trick, but I think it works. I once went camping with my friends for my bat mitzvah, and it was around 2016 where there was a whole clown shit trend. Keep that in mind. So in my friend group, there are 2 siblings, female and male. I already know this is gonna get incestual. It's intuitive. Isn't even intuitive, or it's just like expected based off of past experiences of reading these secrets. Let's continue. And they also came, so we were 4. One of my friends, Kiara, fake name, was going to prank us by putting on a really scary and realistic clown costume, and I was helping her, you know? We thought it would be a good prank. It was 3 a.m. when she woke me up to help her get dressed, and she zipped Maya's tent. Fake name, and she's one of the siblings. Only to see her and her brother naked fucking. When I saw her frozen, I went to look, and I wish I haven't. Kiara and I are no longer in touch with those siblings. It got around the school, and now they are kind of loners. Worst bat mitzvah ever. You know what the best part is? Is that you were trying to scare them, and they scared you. They went beyond scaring you, they scarred you. Joke's on who now, bitch? Maybe we shouldn't try to scare our friends. Or we'll walk in on them fucking their siblings. I don't really. When I was like 8, my cousin, who was also 8, convinced me to play a game she called the Spider Game. It was